Conversations with Iris. Here's your host, my loving wife, Iris.
Hola, mi gente. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Iris. As always, I'm your girl, Iris. And let me tell you, if you're a proud parent or just absolutely obsessed with your furry babies and, of course, your pets, this episode is definitely for you. I am beyond excited for today's conversation as the proud mom of two big, beautiful, fat, if I have to say, English bulldogs who basically they just run my life. I know the firsthand of how deep the love goes for your loving pets. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every bit of this wonderful episode we have in store for you. But before we jump in and get started, let me just pause and throw a well-deserved love to my better half, my amazing husband, and the brilliant creator and founder of the Short Desk podcast. That's right, y'all. Conversations with Iris wouldn't even be a thing or even be around or even wouldn't even come to fruition if it wasn't for his vision and his support. He truly paved the way for this journey and make all this possible. So thank you, my darling. I am so proud to be here and entertaining our wonderful audience members. I also want to take a moment and just send some major love and gratitude to you, to my listeners around the world. I am beyond blessed, ladies and gentlemen. We officially been downloaded in 165 cities across 20 different countries and areas. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. I just get goosebumps talking about it. The global love is totally right there. A few cities that I would love to give a shout out to starts with Stevenson Ranch, California, from the West Coast. I love the West Coast vibes. Thank you. Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you guys. And Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. I love how strong that sounds, Victoria. And so many more. Thank you for listening, sharing, and supporting this little podcast that just could. Your energy keeps this show alive. And I see every single one of you. So thank you so much. Now, let's talk about today's episode. Let's go back to that really quick. Ooh, child, let me just tell you, it's a powerful one. We're going to dive into the world of holistic healing, not just for humans, but for our furry family members. And I couldn't think about anyone to better guide us through this as today's guest will be talking about it. He's just not a vet. He's a movement with degrees in both molecular biology and veterinary medicine. He is a pioneer, what he calls with holistic pet care. And I'm saying that correctly with a W, holistic pet care, blending science, homeopathy, nutrition, and compassionate communication to help animals just live longer and healthier lives in general. He's trained under the best, okay? The very best. Led research at major institutes and created a transformative tools like the Beam Blueprint and the Vitality and Balance System, helping thousands of pet parents reclaim hope for their healing compassion. So without further ado, please help me welcome a trailblazing integrative veterinary and global pet wellness leader, Dr. Jeff Feinman. Welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you, Iris. It almost sounds like I may know what I'm talking about. A wonderful intro. Thank you.
I'm so glad you liked that. And I have to tell our little listeners right now, too, today is 4th of July. Hey. So thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to this girl here on this holiday where everybody tends to go shopping. But you know what? I like to sleep in. So that's just my thing,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Appreciate that. And I was actually, when I was sleeping in this morning, I was thinking about in the fact that it is Independence Day. And this podcast is going to be all about our independence from others and how important it is for us to rely on ourselves as the best caretakers for our companion animal.
Oh, absolutely. And Doctor, if is it okay if I could call you Dr. Jeff? Will that be okay?
Or Jeff, or whatever you like. Yes, that would be awesome.
Perfect. Dr. Jeff, before we get into the nitty-gritty about healing and holistic vibes, I need to ask you something fun. If your rescue dog, Maya Marty, Oh, Maya Marie actually could have a human job based on her personality. What do you think she'd have and why? Would she be a nurse, a DJ, maybe a therapist? Just spill the tea on this beautiful dog.
Oh, what a beautiful question. She would definitely be a shortstop for a baseball team.
Ah, I love that. And she's gorgeous, by the way. I saw a
Thank,
picture of
thank
her.
you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we just got in from playing ball, and she loves nothing more than running, playing fielding, and returning the ball. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Dr. Jeff, you're just not a veterinarian. You are a trailblazer. I mean, you're doing great things. Come on, we got to talk about that. You mean you took your background in molecular biology and conventional vet care and you turned it into something just revolutionary. Let's talk about that path a little bit. How did you get started and what made you kind of like drift and do a different path to holistic approach? Let's dive into that.
Well, how far back do you want to go? Because really, it started back in the 60s and 70s, but back then I was a professional child magician and scientist by fifth grade, actually, and have always wanted to be a veterinarian. So, being a conventional veterinarian went along the path of science and conventional veterinary medicine for about a decade, and then began observing that my patients were really not doing as well as I thought they could do. And as I began to do more and more research, realized that there are lots and lots of options that they never taught us about in vet school. And the past 35 years of my 40-year career, or 30 years,
Oh, wow.
has been, investigating those options and applying them to my patients and to pets all around the world. And you gave a shout out to Victoria. And
Yes.
yeah, and we've got a lot of holistic actions members in Australia and New Zealand and all around the world, because this is an approach that we're not going to hear, from our regular vets or even from our regular holistic vets within H.
Correct, correct. And it's true because we don't see that a lot of holistic methods and approaches for our pets, right? And I'm just speaking for experience, Dr. Feynman. When we take our dogs, it's always like a shot that they get for their allergies or more pills and all that stuff. And it's super expensive. So I just want to thank you and appreciate the fact that you're diving into this holistic approach with pets. And I think what I love about it is that you're basically just kind of moving away from revolutionary medicine and just, looking at the healthier alternatives for our pet. And you call your approach holistic, and that's with a W, holistic rather than just holistic. And can you explain what is that in general? What does it mean and how it evolved from your early days as a traditional vet?
Well, all right. Well, I'll start with the second half of your question first. It evolved because of my study of mitochondria. Mitochondria are the little powerhouses that reside in every cell of the body. And what they do is they generate energy. What I've learned over the years is that energy is all around us.
It
And the
is.
holistic approach is combining mind, body, and spirit, where spirit is actually energy, energy of love, energy of compassion, the energy that guides the body. So,
Yeah.
basically, holism, as I practice it, is looking at the totality of life, looking at every aspect. And most importantly, looking at the symptoms that you described, that when you go to the vet, you get a pill or a shot. Those
Yeah.
symptoms are what we were taught in vet school we need to get rid of. But when we look from a holistic approach, we realize that those symptoms are clues the body's trying to give us to what's really at the root of the problem. Because the root of the problem is never the red ear, it's never the ear infection, it's never the itchy skin, it's never the diarrhea. There's always a root, there's always a cause, a holistic cause.
Mm. And thank you for that. And I feel like you're absolutely right. I feel like there is natural ways on how we could basically prolong the life of our pets. And I'm just speaking about pets in general, right? We're talking about dogs, cats, and everything else from a holistic approach. I feel like for example, something as easy as feeding our dog kibble, in all reality, and you could kindly step in, kibbles it's not really healthy for animals, so I feel like one of the holistic approaches that a lot of people do, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is you cook for your dog. We cook them, like for our dogs, we try to stick organically to organic meats and try to reduce what is it allergies and stuff like that. What is your take on that, especially with their diet and what they're intaking on a daily basis?
You are 100% correct that may be the biggest mover when it comes to the health of our animals. And we'll say it's in the top three of the big movers. Because we know, for example, in people, that eating a fresh food diet compared to eating ultra processed food, which is what kibble and canned food would qualify as
Yes.
ultra processed food. But we know in people that that is directly linked with better health. So the more fresh food you eat, more fresh food that we eat, the healthier we are, whether it's less diabetes or less cancer or less allergies. Yes, that same principle applies to our pets as well. So I make the distinction not between cooking or raw, or the only distinction I make is between processed and fresh.
Now, going back to that, and this is something that's very curious. So, or I've been very curious about with my doggies, the raw component. Are raw foods proven to be good for our pets? I've heard that, like, oh, I'm introducing my dog a raw diet. But I mean, I personally like to cook my babies their food. Like, I have to physically like cook it for them. I don't do anything raw. So, what is your perspective and outlook on that when it comes to raw food?
Well, to me, it all comes back to energy, and actually, everything always comes back to energy, since energy is what allows us and allows our pets and allows all living beings to be alive. Raw food has a higher energy quota than cooked food, where you will cook some of vitality, some of the nutrients out, but very, very minimally when you consider, what they've done to kibble or canned food. So yeah,
Right.
there is a
Right.
lot of research that shows that raw food is by far the best, and I would refer anyone to the white paper of the Raw Feeding Veterinary Society, which talks a lot about, the research that's out there, or read Connor Brady's wonderful book about feeding dogs. And that has a huge amount of the research in it.
Interesting, interesting. And just looking at your website, and you had mentioned also about these resources that, could help your pets in eating a lot better. One of the things that stood out to me was your beam blueprint. Can you touch base on that? What is that, and how can everyday pet parents out there use it to check in with their pets' wellness in general?
Well, starting at the very beginning, veterinary practice is based on getting rid of symptoms, diseases. We're scared of diagnoses. Whereas the approach that we're talking about is based on quality of life and health spans, not even lifespan. That's secondary to health span and quality of life. And BEAM is an acronym: behavior, energy, appetite, and mood, that reflects the quality of life of the individual and the way every pet parent can use BEAM to monitor their animal is by journaling a BEAM score every day. We want to keep a BEAM score above an 8. So we measure it on a 1 to 10 scale. 10 is 100%. Below an 8 is, a dog or a cat or any being that may need some fine-tuning, and that's really what it's all about, is fine-tuning of the life force. And the life force is that energy that flows through the body, that when it's unobstructed, there are no abnormal symptoms. Symptoms are a clue that the life force is meeting what I call an energetic entanglement or an obstruction in its smooth flow.
Interesting and very, very interesting. And with that, you mentioned that you've seen many chronic conditions. We talked about allergies, right? Allergies is a big one, especially for the type of breed of dogs. Like, I have an English bulldog, but you talk about that and how cancer skyrockets. It's just rocketing in pets. What do you think is the contributing factor that is increasing this? Like, and how does holistic care help shift that outcome?
Oh my goodness, that's a huge, huge question, Iris. You want to spend about an hour or two talking about that? I
At
don't
least give me
want
the
to
bits and pieces of it.
know.
Cliff notes.
Blah, blah, blah. I guess I would have to start with the immune system. The immune system exists in our bodies, in pets' bodies, principally for something called the immune surveillance. So the immune system is like the royal guard outside the palace. They're making sure no one gets in, and that is whether it's infections, whether it's any parasite, but most importantly, it's abnormal cells. They all have cells in their body that are abnormal. But their immune surveillance gobbles up those abnormal cells before any problems start. When that immune surveillance ability drops, allergies will rise, not because of surveillance, but because of other factors in the immune system. But so too will cancer. So we do actually see a correlation between allergies or allergic dogs and cancer. And the most common example may be, and I hate to call out the breed, but golden retrievers are famous for allergies and early onset of lymphoma, which
Oh,
is the form
wow.
of cancer.
You said golden retrievers?
Yep.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So tell us about the path to pet wellness. Like, how did you develop that framework? And like, how do you empower like just us like as pet parents and guardians of these little furry babies who feel stuck into the unconventional just treatment cycles? Like it's tiring to go to the vet. Like I just like, oh man, we're gonna spend a few $100s here to take care of our babies. But what is your suggestion? How do we break from that?
Well, first of all, I want to say that you're very lucky for only spending a few $100s. That I just talked to a friend of mine whose dog went for a procedure and was in the vet for a couple days, and the bill was $24,000.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, and in this area, at least a bill of $1,000 or more is not unusual. But to answer your question, as a scientist, as a molecular biologist that always wanted to know what was really going on in the body, this all started with the development of the vitality and balance system, which is a framework that describes how the body works on a molecular biology level, but using the framework of homeopathy. Homeopathy is an energetic form of medicine that is based on using symptoms to figure out what's going on with the totality of the individual. So I wrote this paper on the vitality and balance system, and I took it to a friend of mine who's an internist, a veterinary internist at Cornell. And we were going through it, and at the end of the discussion, he said, yeah, this all makes sense, but now what? Now what do we do with this information? And of course, to me, as a homeopath, my answer is, well, we can use homeopathy to alter life force and alter, the challenges that we're having. But then it dawned on me that the majority of people are not working with veterinary homeopaths. So the path to pet wellness is a way to use the vitality and balance system based on homeopathy, but without homeopathy. So based on breathing, based on love, based on compassion, based on connection, based on all the things that we know improve the quality of life for all living beings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point, and I appreciate you for saying that. Now, from a I always have difficulties with that word. From a molecular biology perspective here, do you think that certain dogs, and without taking in consideration their specific breeds, right? Do you think some dogs can be born with a weaker immune system than others? And I'm sorry if you hear my fur babies in the back. Somebody's in the door there. But do you think that's possible? Like dogs being being born with like deteriorating immune systems that may cause them to be more sick than other dogs in this case?
Yeah, we know for a fact that is indeed the case.
Okay. How about when it comes to specific dog breeds like I always get a bad rep for my dogs. And yes, we do have some allergy issues there, with my English bulldogs. You talk about pugs or French bulldogs out there, they're known to have allergy problems, but aside from that, do you think overall that the symptoms that I would say English bulldogs go through, the allergies, you had mentioned golden retrievers, is it very common for dogs outside those breeds?
It is very common, and there are very simple strategies to avoid those problems or those health challenges. But yes, there are certain breeds that are predisposed, and one of the big causes is inbreeding. One of the reasons why my Marie is here a few feet away from me right now is because my Marie has what is called hybrid vigor. And hybrid vigor is a genetics term that basically says the genes are all over the place. There's no concentration
Wow.
of genes like a breed would have, because when you concentrate the genes, you also concentrate the genetic problems. And that being said, it's not all about genetics. I know a lot of English bulldogs and toy dogs and other purebred dogs, a lot of them that are living their best life because they're following the strategies that are discussed in the Path to Pet Wellness upcoming book, which actually you can grab the beginning of the book in a few days.
Oh, good. Good. And that's wonderful to know. And just now that you were talking about that, for like listeners out there, right, that are brand new to holistic care, like they want to adapt this to their pets. What are just the three simple actions that they could take right now to just improve the overall pet's health?
Number one, which has one A and one B, is, is realize that you know your animals the best.
Yeah.
You are the quarterback of their healthcare team. If you ever go to the vet and you feel intuitively that what they're saying is not what you feel comfortable with, then maybe it's wise to go home and say, thank you, I'm going to do some more research and then we'll decide what to do. But second part of part one is it would be really great for everyone to be working with a holistic veterinarian to help guide them on that path. There are a lot of us that work around the world, even if you don't have somebody locally. We do consulting work virtually in conjunction with your local veterinarian. So that is number one. Number two is, as you said, fresh food, get them onto a fresh food diet. And number three is starting to respect their bodies. And by respecting their bodies, that includes following the Beam Blueprint and never suppressing a symptom. That symptom is there as a clue. It's there for a reason. When you get rid of that symptom just for the sake of getting rid of a symptom, then you are actually lowering the healing ability of the individual. And if you do that enough, then other symptoms that are more serious may actually arise.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for letting our listeners know what three steps we could definitely start following if we want to do that holistic approach. Me, myself, you've encouraged me, and I think that I'm going to talk to my hubby and be like, hey, I think that we need to start doing this. I think we need to really, really listen to our babies, which we do listen to them a lot. But thank you for like encouraging sharing that with us, because I think that that's the way a lot of us need to go, especially if we want our babies to live for a long time, right? They have such a short lifespan, which is a shame. Isn't that the worst thing ever? But you want them to live forever in my eyes, right?
You do. We all want to live forever, but we also have to be like the Greek Stoics were, where they realize that they're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna lose that energy. But part of the holistic approach is realizing that the energy that is trapped in my body, that is allowing my body to do its job, does not go away when we transition. It just becomes part of the greater energy all around us.
Oh, that was beautifully said. That was very, very nice of you. And just to, as we move on here to wrap up a little bit, Dr. Feinman, I want to thank you again for everything you're doing from a holistic approach. I personally appreciate individuals like you because, like I said, it gets tiring going to the veterinarian. It gets tiring us, people especially that don't have the means or the wherewithals to be able to support their pets. And I appreciate what you're doing from a holistic approach, and your knowledge and compassion it just shines very brightly. I think many of us, especially those who feel like they hit a wall in caring on their pets, or they could walk away with some sense of new hope. And before we transition to a close here, can you please tell our audience how they can connect with you, work with you, and learn about your holistic actions?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking. The very best way to connect with me is to add holistic actions with an S veterinarianandwhole.com, where you'll see a lot of information, a lot of free information, and there is a free course, a one-on-one course that gives you the basis of everything that we talked about. So that's a really good place to start. And of course, we would love everyone to pick up a copy of my book when it comes available. But, for right now, the place to start is whole-istic.com.
Oh, well, thank you for that. So when is your new book dropping? Tell us.
Well, for anyone on the wait list, the ebook version and the supplemental guide will be available by late summer. Right now there is, in the next few days, the first 20 pages will be available, but the book will be in bookstores not until Valentine's Day of next year, so February of next year.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Feinman. And I want to thank you so much again. And to my gente bonita, thank you all for listening and being part of this growing family. And of course, I want to take a heartfelt moment and again to thank our amazing guest, Dr. Jeff Feinman, for joining us today. And thank you again for sharing your wisdom, your compassion, and just educating all of us on how to love and care for our pets in a more holistic approach. And just, it's an empowering way of things. And if you love what you heard, make sure you visit holisticactions.com as indicated by Dr. Jeff. Sign up for their newsletter or follow Dr. Jeff on social media to keep learning how to help your furry loved ones live their healthiest and happiest life. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and stream this episode across your favorite platforms. Your support means everything to me and to us, everything. And as always, stay joyful, stay curious, and keep spreading those good vibes. Until next time, con mucho amor. This is Conversations with Iris. Thank you, Dr. Feinman. I appreciate you bringing on the show.
Muchas gracias. Adios. Thank you.
Love it.